Ladies and gentlemen, we are just over a week away from Call of Duty Next, the event that will basically give us all of the information we are wondering about, gameplay, probably DMZ, Warzone 2, and everything that is coming next for Call of Duty. And of course, next week we will be breaking that down. But as for now, we've been kind of a little lackluster on the reveals, especially on the multiplayer side. So what I've done in this video is kind of gone and taken all the leaks, information, things that we know about the new multiplayer for Modern Warfare 2, put them into one video and put them into a list so that you guys can easily see what is new and what is coming and what you can expect from some new features inside of the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. There's a lot to break down here with individual things like weapon customization, leveling, things along those lines, but we also have a deeper dive into DMZ and what that means for multiplayer moving forward later on in the video. Now, before we dive into this list, I first have to tell you about today's video sponsor. So as far as today's sponsor goes, if you followed the channel or you just play a lot of games, you probably already know about it, and that is of course Raid Shadow Legends. This is a game available on PC and of course your mobile phone as well. If you haven't played it yet, at any time during this ad, you can scan that QR code on screen and download it for yourself. So one of my favorite things that games do is they do in-game events, and Raid Shadow Legends does a really good job of that. So for their 3-year anniversary, I'm going to go over what I believe are the 3 best themed champions they've added into the game so far. So coming in at number 3, we have Cupidus. This is obviously for Cupid for Valentine's Day. I'm going with this for number 3 just because he's an awesome champion, but as you can see, I think he could look a little bit more like Cupid. At number 2, we have the Miscreated Monster. As far as this one goes, this one's straightforward. This one's for Halloween, and of course, this is Frankenstein's monster himself. Looks absolutely awesome, but without a shadow of a doubt, at number 1, we have the man himself, Sir Nicholas Santa Claus. Absolutely the coolest themed champion in my opinion. If you're wondering what is new in Raid Shadow Legends, they just released a new feature called Awakening and a brutal new dungeon called the Iron Twins Fortress. If you're good enough to take down the Iron Twins, you'll see a huge payoff being able to awaken your champions. Awakening your champions lets you choose powerful blessings that can transform how they perform in battle. It looks super exciting, so hurry up and try it out. But wait, there is more big news because Raid just released a super powered legendary vision of everybody's favorite champion, Death Knight. And the best part is everyone can get him for free. Just log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and October 27th, and you'll get the ultimate Death Knight easy. There's never been a better time to get started if you use the DK Rises promo code for a bunch of free items to instantly level your new strongest champion all the way to level 50 and 5-star ascension as well. But still, there is more. If you're new to Raid Shadow Legends and you want to give it a shot, you can either scan my QR code on screen or click the link down in the description. And if you do so, you get a free starter pack worth almost $30, a free champion Ana, and also this cool in-game loot. You will find the rewards here in your inbox in the next 30 days, so there's never a better time to check out Raid. Either click that link down below or scan that QR code on screen. And thank you, Raid Shadow Legends, for sponsoring the video. So let's start out with the basics. As far as what I'm talking about here is it's the basic gameplay stuff we know about multiplayer. First of all, we know certain things are coming back. For example, mounting, the movement system that we saw in Modern Warfare 2019 with some few speed tweaks and things along those lines. But there are some other things that are also changing. The one is through a leak, which is the perk system. Now, at this point, we don't know exactly how this is going to work, but we heard through Create a Class, it's going to be different where you are going to be able to choose 4 perks. The first 2 perks will be in one perk slot, and they will kind of determine what your play style is going to be. Are you going to be a camper, a rusher? Are you going to move around quickly? Are you going to kind of go from head cover to head cover? These perks will help you with that. After that, you then have 2 other perks and 2 other perk slots that will then be deterministic of what you do throughout the rest of the game. Now, at this point, we don't exactly know how this is going to work, but the current rumor is 4 perks, which we don't really understand how exactly those will work. Going even broader than that, we've learned many things. For example, 6v6 maps will be the main focus of the game, followed up by Ground War. Ground War will be more vertical style maps, whereas they're going to be focusing on more linear and fast-paced maps for 6v6. As of right now, we haven't seen a lot of maps, but that'll be something that I have to look forward to for Call of Duty Next. So the next 3 things that we're going to talk about are all of the nitty-gritty. The first of which is Gunsmith. Modern Warfare 2 is going to be a little bit different, more towards the lines of Modern Warfare 2019. There will not be 10 attachments on every individual weapon. They did not give us an exact number, whether that would be 5, whether that would be 7. All we know is that it is less than 10. My best guess is it would be around 5. But as far as we know, there should be less weapon levels than in Vanguard, and it'll be more on par with what we saw in Modern Warfare 2019. And with Warzone 2 coming out, we can expect that to be carried over into that as well. As far as this also goes, the other big thing revolving around this, and the thing that I am probably most interested in the entire game so far, is actually attachments. So in regards to attachments, essentially they're changing the way that they work. Right now, when you unlock an attachment, you put it on your weapon and it has specific stats that it'll change on your weapon. That'll be similar, however, you're also going to be able to adjust these. So this is a mock-up image that I created. It is not real whatsoever. It's just kind of to show you what we saw. So for the foregrip, for example, you might be able to adjust how much recoil or move speed you actually get from this attachment, similar with aim down sights and sprint out, and you can see an actual graph with adjustments in-game when you actually do so. This will change up things drastically, especially if different types of foregrips allow you to change different types of stats. Similar with iron sights, things along those lines. If you can change the stats on them, it'll make attachments much more meaningful and more meaningful to actually unlock, which is one of the things that we talked about yesterday. But not only that is changing with unlocks, there's also another big thing as well. So the last thing that we have, and keep in mind, I've seen all of these, so we know that they're in the game in some form or another. We did not see the final form. We didn't get to play with any of these things, but they did talk to us about them. So this is weapon trees. So this is something that is very new, and essentially what I'm showing you is a mock-up of what this concept actually is. So what we have here is the M4, and there'll be a specific challenge, and you may be able to unlock something like 5.56 rounds for it. Then when you do so, it gives you another challenge where you can unlock another attachment. And generally speaking, I tried to ask many questions about this, but we didn't get too much information. Basically, these attachments, when you unlock them, will be available for an entire class of weapons. So when you do the challenge for the M4, this attachment will then unlock for things like the AK-47 and other assault rifles as well. Some of these will be various things you can unlock like attachments, others may be calling cards or other challenges that you can do through these weapon trees. And upon completing the weapon trees, you get the attachment, you get the challenge complete. And I think this is a very good idea and a great way of changing up weapon progression to not just have weapon levels, but also challenges that actually mean something. After this, the next thing that we have is DMZ. Now, we've talked about this quite a bit on the channel. There's been plenty of leaks revolving around it as to what the gameplay is actually going to look like, but the only thing that we have actually seen from this is when the LA Rams went to Infinity Ward and played the game. When they did so, one of the players put out an image on Instagram showing what appears to be the lobby menu for DMZ. Now, unfortunately, you can't make out any of the words or what any of the menus actually are here. However, we can see that it is a build in the game and a build in the game that they are actually playing, which means they got their hands on DMZ, and it's obviously something like we've never seen before. Now, going from this, we can kind of talk a little bit about what DMZ will be. It's an escape from Tarkov-esque mode where you go in, you kill scavs or you kill other players, you take their loot and then try to extract with it. Now, we don't know what exactly the play loop will actually look like when this is released, but it is something that we can probably expect to see at Call of Duty Next, if not in the beta coming in 2 weeks from now, which is absolutely insane that it's that close to being revealed. I can't wait to see what this has to unfold, and from what we are seeing, I am willing to bet what we will get is an extension of the campaign. So these different maps and missions, and then as we learned, intel will be in DMZ as well, will continue the story of what we expect to see in the campaign. I'm guessing that won't be in the beta as they don't want any spoilers, but we'll have to wait and see, and we can extrapolate further once we actually get our hands on it. That's kind of what you can expect to see from DMZ. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is actual player progression and also kind of weapon progression as well. So in one of the blog posts, they talk about the Vault edition of the game, and in doing so, the last thing that they say is race to prestige and level up your favorite weapons. They can be used in new Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 once it launches later this year. So essentially what that tells us is that whatever the weapon progression system is in Modern Warfare 2, it'll continue in Warzone 2, and it'll work like it does now, just whatever with the new system is. Now, a lot of people are kind of misunderstanding this where it says race to prestige, because with this they are assuming that the old prestige system is back where there's 10 prestige, you level up through them, and each season your rank doesn't get reset. I don't want to count on that yet, simply because I know a lot of people want it and I highly doubt it is going to be there. What I actually think this means is prestiging weapons are back, not actually prestiging you as a player. which is interesting because prestiging weapons we haven't seen in a while, and I don't exactly know how that'll work with attachments and the rank up system of weapons and how fast it'll work. That is something I'm very interested in, but I would take the whole prestige saying there with a grain of salt, or at least a little bit of caution. Now, what interests me there is prestiging weapons could very well have to do with whatever you do for camos. Maybe you can't get camos for weapons until you prestige a weapon. I would find that pretty rare, or maybe you can only get a set of camos once you prestige a weapon. It's kind of hard to say at this point, but I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye on that, and we will probably get a better idea once the beta's actually out as far as what progression will actually look like. They will probably talk about that at Call of Duty Next. Speaking of which, that's basically all of the information we have for now in regards to multiplayer, how DMZ will be worked into it, and everything along those lines. I'm guessing throughout this week we will be getting some blog posts and things like that regarding some things either involving Call of Duty Next, multiplayer, or DMZ. So keep an eye out for that. I will keep you guys updated as that happens. But for now, this is what we have. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. New to the channel, hit subscribe. All of that jazz. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are real.